Hello students, welcome to the online class of physics. This is your Naima Miss back with what is inside an atom. So in our previous class we have learned about what is electron, what is neutron, what is proton, and even we have learned that Mr. J.J. Thomson, he said that the electrons and protons are arranged in an watermelon type of plum pudding, right? So they are arranged like this. He said like a watermelon, how the watermelon is arranged, how watermelon is arranged, like all the red color, that will be the protons, and whatever the seeds are, like they are electrons. Okay. So he said this, but his student only, who was Rutherford. Okay, who was he? Rutherford. He said that he has undergone many more experiments, and he came to know more about the electron and proton theory. Okay, so what did he say? Let us learn about that. So Rutherford Ernest, he was the good student of J.J. Thomson. Okay, he was a good student of J.J. Thomson. Then what did he do? He felt something, maybe there was something, he felt like it's not true, it's not something, it is messing up. So what did he do? He just continued the experiment of his sir, J.J. Thomson, and he proposed an experiment or a theory that naming Rutherford's alpha particle scattering experiment. So which experiment he performed? He performed Rutherford's alpha particles scattering experiment. Okay, this was the experiment which was performed by Rutherford. So Ernest Rutherford was a scientist who born in the New Zealand in 1909. He did some experiment using gold foil and alpha particles. Okay, what did he use? The main thing was gold foil and alpha particles. These were the main prospects to which he was following. Okay, gold foil and the alpha particles. Alpha particles consist of protons and neutrons bond together, since they did not have any electrons. Okay, so what is happening here? Alpha particles, they had what? Protons and neutrons. Okay, they had 2 protons and 2 neutrons, but they do not have electrons. Okay, and these protons and neutrons were bond together. Okay, they are positively charged with 2 units of charges. Okay, so let us see the experimental setup. Okay, and try to understand what is Rutherford experiment. What did he use? He used the alpha particle source. Okay, alpha particle source. He took one source which was having alpha particles in it. Okay, so this is nothing but alpha particles source. Okay, now what did he do to this? He used a ring. Okay, what was that? Okay, and in center he placed gold foil. Okay, this was the gold foil. Okay, now there is a source of fast moving alpha particles which have a considerable amount of energy. So what is happening? From here the light is passing. So this is the stream of alpha particles. So they are having only positive, that is protons, 2 protons and 2 neutrons. Okay, they are having 2 protons and 2 neutrons. So there is a continuous speed stream of the alpha particles which is going and touching the from this slit. It is having one slit also here. So from this slit it is going and touching what? Gold foil. Okay, so when it is going and touching the foil, what must happen? The stream of alpha particles is directed towards a very thin gold foil. Okay, the gold foil was placed inside a detector. So what is this? This is a detector to detect the electrons, protons and neutrons. Okay, what is the subatomic particle? Fine. So this gold foil was placed inside a detector in such a way that the detector would show a flash of light when an alpha particles struck it. Okay, it used to show a flash of light. The entire arrangement was kept in a vacuum container. That means it was kept in an open air chamber. Okay, open air chamber. Think of Thomson's model of atom. When the alpha particles hit the foil, what has happened? It should pass, right? But when the alpha particle, Rutherford expected that they all would be deflected by the positive charges. They would be deflecting with the positive charges spread evenly throughout the gold foil atom. Okay, evenly throughout the, what he thought was this ray is passing means all the, they will evenly pass through it and evenly the lines will come. But actually what happened, it was found that the alpha particles passed through the atom without any deflection. They did not deflect back, but they passed through the gold foil. Some particles deflected in small angle, only small angle. Suppose this is your gold foil. Okay, suppose this is the gold foil arranged atoms. In the gold foil, the atoms are arranged like this. Okay, so now when the foil, when the ray is passing, when the stream of alpha particles is passing, then what is happening? They are crossing away passing away from this foil very easily. Okay, they are not getting deflected, but a few of them only were deflecting with a small angle. Okay, only a few were deflecting with a small angle. Only very few particles were deflected through the large angles and a very small number of particles were reflected right back. Okay, very few were reflected right. Okay, so let us try to understand the result of this Rutherford effect experiment. Suppose you throw a small stone at a solid wall in a horizontal direction. It will not go through. But if you throw a stone through a fence of considerably big gap of, lot of them would pass through the gaps, right? Thomson's model was assumed that positive charges were uniformly distributed throughout the atom, and it was expected that all the alpha rays would be deflected. Since the alpha particles are big, the deflection was expected through the small angles. But Rutherford found that most of the particles passed through the gold foil. Okay, most of the particles passed through the gold foil like stones through the fences. Okay, when you pass the stones through the fences, suppose these are the fences, when you pass the stones to the fences, it will cross it, right? Similarly, this here also the rays were passing through the foil. This led Rutherford to think about a new atomic model. Rutherford concluded from the alpha particle scattering experiment that most of the space inside the atom is empty. Okay, most of the space inside the atom is empty because most of the alpha particles passed through it, right? Most of the alpha particles passed through it. A very small fraction of alpha particle that was reflected right back indicated that they had made a large positive charge. and the mass which repelled the charge on the alpha particles. So all the positive charge must be concentrated in a very small space within the atom. On this basis of experiment, Rutherford put forward a nuclear model of an atom which had the features which I'm gonna tell you now. So what he said that some all positively charged particles, they are forming a small dense center in which is called as nucleus. Okay, which is called as nucleus. There is some positively charged, they are forming one group, a bundle in the center, and it is called as nucleus. The electrons were not part of this nucleus. Fine, this was the first point. He also proposed that negatively charged electrons revolve around the nucleus. Okay, in a well-defined orbit, Rutherford's model is sometimes referred to as planetary model, like how sun is in center and all the planets revolve round the sun in a defined orbit, okay, in their fixed positions. Similarly, he said that the positively charged particles, the protons and neutrons, they form a dense small center at the center of the atom, and they are called as nucleus. And these negatively charged electrons, they form their own orbit and revolve around the nucleus. Okay, similarly, like the planet, the size of the nucleus is very small as compared to the size of the atom. So this is the experiment conclusion given by the Rutherford. And what did he said? He said that most of the space is empty and all the positive charges are at the center of the atom. Okay, so that the space is empty here, as this positively charged subatomic particles are getting concentrated here at the center and forming a dense space, occupying a dense space which is called as nucleus, and all the negatively charged electrons are revolving around the nucleus and having a lot of space within the atom, and this is called as nucleus, and the electrons are revolving in a particular orbit. Fine. Even though the Rutherford was so far right in his model, but still he had some limitations. So what were those limitations? Think of an atom like hydrogen with one electron and one proton. Okay, we are thinking hydrogen, suppose this is having one electron and one proton. Okay, then the electron is attracted by the proton, right? Suppose this is the nucleus, it is having one electron and one proton. Okay, so as the nucleus is attracted as the to the electron, right, as the electron is attracted by the proton in the nucleus, even in a circular motion around the nucleus, the electron should has an acceleration. An accelerated charged particle moving in a circular would always radiate energy continuously. Okay, because here if it is electron is moving here, it has to radiate energy here, if it is moving here, it has to radiate energy here, like this. So it is continuously radiating the energy. Thus the revolving electron would lose energy continuously and get directed towards the positively charged nucleus and eventually crash into the nucleus. If this is true, the atom would become highly unstable. How the hydrogen can be stable? It will become unstable, and the matter would not exist in the form that we see it in now. But we know that the atoms are stable. From starting we are learning the same thing, that atoms are stable. But according to him, we will see that electron is getting lost and getting crushed in the nucleus. So it should not be stable. But hydrogen is stable. How it is? Okay. So further, this was again there was an experiment done, and again a new model came, seeing these limitations. In 1913, a Danish scientist, Niels Bohr, suggested an atomic model to explain the structure of atom to overcome the Rutherford's limitation. So that we will learning in our next class. Thank you.